Hello everyone and welcome to She Rides, the podcast where women's cycling takes lead. I'm Saar.
And I'm Kristof, and today we're diving into the latest race results and hot topics in women's cycling.
Let's get started. Ready? Hi everyone and welcome to episode 77 of She Rides. Today we're gonna talk about the first six stages of the Giro women. Already lost count, and I think we can say we had quite an eventful Giro so far, with some surprises, some complete shocks as well, and some heartbreaks as well. Already starting in the first stage with the DNF for Kat Ferguson. She crashed already in the neutral zone, and then I think who was watching live saw the first images we got from the peloton, a huge crash where Kat was involved and she was transferred to the hospital. We don't know a lot apart from luckily no brain injuries and stuff like that. So that was quite a hard crash. Was also, not really a nice image to see her laying on the ground like that. So Giro started off not so strong with that, but it was an opportunity for the sprinters at the first stage. As we talked before, no QOM, so sprint stage. And when Wiebes competes, I think it didn't came to be a big surprise that she took the win by quite some bike lengths before Balsamo, Gillespie, Consoni, Baker, Cole on 5 or 6 at that point still for like a couple of minutes after the stage, which is also a bit story for Cole in this overall Giro, that she's not really getting the top results she's hoping for, I guess. Then Zanetti, I think it was her first top 10 of the year as well for Zanetti. So good to see her back sprinting. Gladys Verhulst, Celia Jury, who was sprinting instead of Williston since she got a migraine attack. So that's crazy to still finish, I guess. Then Lily Williams and Zambelli from Fassa Bortolo, who has been doing some nice sprints as well, consistently getting into that top 10. That was the story, not the story of the day, actually, I would say.
Oh, really?
Because I was like just having dinner in the garden like quite late, so I didn't like see anything. But then at 10 we were going inside, and I just got my phone, was charging inside, and it kind of exploded. And I saw like a message, Wiebes disqualified. And I was like, disqualified, sure, like for the stage, relegated or something like that. No pink jersey. And I was already like sitting outside. And I was like, what? Why? And I saw the bike weight and I was like, shit. But I was like, relegation. Okay, everyone needs to it all are the same rules, so that makes sense. And then I was like, wait, disqualify is actually like out of the race. But at that point we didn't like know anything about the differences, so I was like, I mean, if it's the rule, because like in the rule book it clearly states when your bike is underweight, then you are disqualified. So I was like very much in shock. Like, first of all, like the questions, like, how the fuck does this happen? How is your bike too light? And then why is also, I had a lot of questions. And then after refreshing a lot of times, we got a statement from As He Works Pro Time, which I don't know what it did, raised some more questions. And so the first part was basically them explaining that, like, what the exact weights were. So they said the bicycle, according to the jury, weighed 6.78. It needs to weigh 6.8, so that's 20 grams. But still, so they weighed it before because that was the second time, and then it was 50 grams lighter. So that was that. And then they stated that Wiebes has ridden the exact bike, with the same setup, and that they actually could not understand how it happened. And then they also said they weighed the bike themselves inside, because the UCI weighed it in a tent with like wind and stuff like that. And when they weighed it themselves, it was heavy enough, but also there was some confusion there, because I think Danny Stam said it was 6.85, and then I heard Erwin Jansen, the CEO, say it was 6.83. I was always also like, what? And then they started like stating that like they thought the punishment was too heavy because it doesn't matter in a flat stage, and certainly true for a rider like Wiebes. I'm sorry, but I feel like this is like not the this is not essential. in your statement. I feel like the first part about stating what is wrong with the decision was the thing they needed to say out there, and I feel like questioning the punishment or saying why the punishment is not right because Wiebes would have won anyway doesn't make too much sense to me, because I feel like rules are rules. So I feel like if there was really something wrong with the UCI, which also would not be surprising, they definitely have a point. But I feel like, yeah, I had some weird vibes with the communication there. But yeah, you could have even more weird vibes with the UCI, who apparently just went complete silent treatment, didn't react anymore. So yeah, I think As Works also threatened already with some legal steps against them. So we will see how that ends up. And yeah, overall there was a lot of stuff about it said and done. But yeah, it happened, and Balsamo got the stage victory and the pink jersey. So your thoughts, Kristof?
Like you said, Saar, the statement from SD Works was kind of unlucky. You shouldn't complain about the punishment. That's in the rules. Unfortunately, that's what it is. But like you said, the UCI going completely silent afterwards, and we're talking about 20 grams. So that's a detail. That's not 1 kilo. That's not 500 grams. It's 20. So that opens a lot of debate, especially with a rider like Lorena Wiebes. And afterwards you just go completely silent. Then I'm questioning, like, dear UCI, is there a written standard procedure how you weigh the bike? What scale are you using? How is it like determined, the scale? What's the procedure? Because this should be open. The whole procedure should be well known, well described, so SD Works and every other team can buy the same scale and like work with the same standards, because we all know like if you use scale A and scale B, it can differ 50 grams. That's like a complete big difference in this case, because we're talking about 20 grams. So do they have a gold standard? Can they just like describe like we did it this way, and can you just like do a counter expertise yourself on the same level, with the same material, with the same procedure that the UCI is using? Because that's what you need to verify here. Now you're just discussing about, no, but on my scale it measured 6.85. No, on my scale it was 6.78. Doesn't work on this level. We're talking World Tour, we're talking Giro, we're talking the biggest level of cycling. You cannot go completely silent.
Yeah.
If you are the UCI, if you are a governing body, and you send out like standards and procedures about weight, about time trial, about anything else, document them, describe them. That's external parties like SD Works, like teams, like coaches, like DSs, that they can verify beforehand, like, okay, UCI is using brand X, we buy the same thing, and we can use their standards, and then there's no discussion anymore. Like, I make the comparison, it's completely different with Belgian cycling. When they compare youth cyclists on their power numbers, they use the Cyclist 2 power meter. Everybody. So that means you, Saar, me, somebody completely different, 100 watts is 100 watts. You cannot complain about, yes, but I use this brand, or you use this brand, or I use this standard. It's all the same, and that's what you need. Now it's not clear, it's foggy, it's a gray zone. And that's what's bothering me. I mean, of course, you shouldn't complain about the punishment. That's well written. But is the procedure well written? I don't know, frankly. I can be wrong. It can exist, but it needs to be open and clear for every party involved, so they can like verify at the same level as the UCI does. Because now you're discussing about 20 grams, and that's peanuts, let's be honest. So is it the right decision or not? I can't say.
Yeah,
I can't say.
I actually have no idea either, because so Thijs Zonneveld did some research, and he was saying like, for example, the thing Visma does is before the start, take a picture with the bike weight and a timestamp to have proof that the bike was heavy enough, which seems smart. And then he's saying SD Works didn't weigh the bike before, which is also something maybe it will also be a wake-up call to teams, like maybe we should make sure we have more proof that our bikes are heavy enough. And then we also saw some Thijs Zonneveld also saying like it was the same bike as in Gent-Wevelgem, but still the setup was slightly different. So if nothing else changes apart from that change, the bike actually might be lighter than there. But it's hard to judge. The only thing I do know is that it's really, really, really fucking bad for Wiebes, and I'm really sorry for her that this happened to her, because we all do complain a lot about how boring it gets when Wiebes does a sprint. But I mean, she works for it as hard as anyone in the peloton trying to win a sprint. And when you work for something this long, you're also in a team with lots of superstars who all want to get their chance. So it's not like every week there's a Grand Tour you can go compete and win some several stages there. I don't know what happens in your head when you hear this, something you don't even have the control of, and it's just like, yeah, your bike was 20 grams too light, you can go home. You could have won at least 4 stages here, but I mean, not our problem. So yeah, I'm super sorry for her. That's actually what I'm taking away from whole this situation. So many question marks, and I don't know how to judge. But yeah, super sorry for Lorena. It really sucks.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
complain a lot about the dominance of Lorena Wiebes, but that's not the way we want to see it happen.
Yeah, no.
That's not what we mean by complaining about Wiebes' dominance. That's no. And then we're acting in a gray zone, and this sucks. This just sucks. It's completely like in the dark. Like, is it right or is it wrong? Nobody can verify that. That's what sucks here.
Yeah, because the only thing we actually got is we got just like the jury report, which is literally she's disqualified for this reason. And then we got the SD Works statement and some interviews by SD Works. So it's like, yeah.
And just the lack of a clear, well-written, documented procedure, maybe. And then, after this incident from the UCI side, every umbrella opens up, and you will never, never, ever get to the bottom of this again. That's for sure.
But what is so strange about this situation? So we're talking about like 20 grams. And if the scales are like, they have a margin of 50 grams, I'm also weirded out why this hasn't happened before. Or is it just like, we didn't see anything? Or like, we have so many races on both men's side and women's side. How is it? I guess it was from 2013 or something I've heard. The last time we had this, it was also in the Giro, but it was like 200 grams or something. So that's a bigger difference.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if we're really like looking this closely on the limits, how has this only happened once in the last few years? That's also something that's like, yeah, it's just a difficult situation. But yeah, consistency and the UCI, I don't have much trust in their consistency. So
that's the problem. That's the major issue here, I think, indeed. Yeah. You need clear procedure and the people from the governing body themselves that know very well how to execute the rules. It's the same on time trials setups. 1 week you can pass the control like pretty easily, do not touch the bike, completely same setup, nothing has changed, and the week after the commissaire says like, this is a no-go. So like, what's going on here? I mean, use the same rules. Like,
yeah.
It's weird. Anyway, yeah, well, but end result, Balsamo in pink, so it was nice to see her start in pink in the second stage. Not why she's in pink, but that she started in pink was nice.
I saw like a clip of a Dutch podcast where there was someone like so furious about the fact that Balsamo was like wearing pink glasses and stuff like that because it was like disrespectful in her opinion. And I was like, oof, chill. I mean, like, yeah, her bike did weigh enough as we've seen in the last couple of stages. So, I mean, like, didn't see a problem there. I'm just happy that it's clear that by like being able to sprint, like also I think the part without Wiebes and being to sprint and win her sprints, yeah, with quite a big margin has clearly given her a confidence boost, which I think was something she really, really needed. So yeah, that's the thing I loved about this situation. I felt like we saw Balsamo get her confidence in her sprint back, and that's only something we can be happy about. I feel like a confident Balsamo will always get closer to Wiebes than when she's not. So maybe I'm just delusional, but she did win her sprints with some margin, the last sprints she won. So maybe she can get closer. I think Copenhagen Sprint is when we'll see them compete again together. So yeah, would be nice if we saw her come a bit closer than normal.
Yeah. Yeah. Then maybe on to stage 2.
Yeah.
From my side, we can be really short about that one.
Yeah.
Like Balsamo won with
I do
authority.
need to say something. I
Yeah.
already know because I do get some feedback from McFly. So his favorite rider is Eleonora Labella, and she took the QM jersey
Ah,
in the second stage. So here you
good.
go. I hope I didn't disappoint you this episode. I didn't forget, but yeah, Balsamo won it for Gillespie, Consoni, Cole, Guarishi.
Yep, nothing more to
Yeah.
say. Quite uneventful stage after the first one, to be honest.
Yeah, let's
Stage,
go to stage 3. Yeah.
yeah, was maybe also not super eventful, but from a podcast guest side
Yeah.
bias, might have been super interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, classic Sigrid, last 200 meters are too
Yeah,
much.
fuck it. But it was like I was waiting for it because
Yeah.
like I was like, okay, like there are not this many domestiques. We do need an attack, and I was thinking like, this would be nice for Secret, and like she has this so recognizable way of sitting on her bike. So I saw her like moving up from completely behind, like on the side, and I was like, oh, is she gonna try this? And then she got a nice gap, and I was just like hoping it would like stop. But then Demi started riding, and I was like, come on, girl, why? I don't see why. Because like, where did they even end up? On place 8. So I was like, oh no, FDG gonna ruin this. And yeah, not happy about it. But like also if you see her interview like afterwards, like that's like the person she is. She's so nice, and she's like, yeah, we'll try again. Who knows next time? But
Yeah,
imagine she would have deserved a Giro stage win so bad.
of course.
And we'll also get later on into how good she's actually doing this Giro. But I also have a little small rant about that as well. Not about Secret, but the situation. But I'll keep that for the more climby stages. But yeah, in the end, Balsamo took it again. She really did suffer to get back there because we had like a GC group going away on that climb with Vollering, Van der Breggen, Reusser as well, Trinca Colonel, Niedermayer. Am I forgetting someone? Probably. I think Door de Schepper was quite close as well. Yeah. Was Lamborghini there?
Oh, Saar. I mean, that's like, I think she
I
was.
don't know. Yeah, anyway, so we did have that, and then the sprinter types did try really hard to do it. And then we had like a little surprise from Lily Williams, which was a great result on 2, and then Gerrits at 3, Longoborghini 4, Persico 5 for Georgie 6, and Millie Cousins was relegated to last place of the group. I didn't watch the sprint back, so I don't or I did watch the sprint back, but without focusing on Millie Cousins, so I don't really know what happened. But
Yeah, first sight, the complete sprint didn't look like dangerous or irregular, but probably she did something wrong, I guess. But yeah, I was not focused on her, to be honest, either. But this one was a well-earned sprint victory for Balsamo. She really had to work for it because the terrain was more rolling and demanding than the first 2 stages, I think. So she had to really work for this one. Strong effort in pink.
Stage 4?
Yeah, exciting.
Well, we're just gonna talk about a bit more about Secret because I mean the most memorable thing of this whole Giro is gonna be Secret Hogshead having seconds on Marlon Reusser after the first flat part of the time trial. I was like, whoa, what is happening? This is quite cool.
Yeah, on the flat, you should highlight
exactly. I was like, oh, this is crazy. So yeah, that was kind of a cool and funny situation to see that. I'm sad they didn't have a camera on her though. They forgot about her, which was a misser. But yeah. Anyways, I think for us, or at least for me, Royster was the clear favorite
Me
here.
too.
And then I would have put Vollering, and then some more question marks, maybe Van der Breggen, but she did surprise us there, I feel like. So her first flat part was already super strong. Yeah, she just kept going even faster. Crazy TT by Van der Breggen. Yeah, to be honest, I really didn't see it coming. I felt like she was gonna do like like a third or fourth spot in this time trial and stay close, but definitely not take a minute on Reusser and a bit more on Vollering and Niedermeyer. So that was a super surprising performance to me. Yeah, she still has it. That's clear. And then also Lauren Dixon on 6 was also a huge surprise for me. Of course, we saw she's been doing good, but 6 on a mountain TT, that's quite impressive. And then for she writes Nadia Gontova on the 13th spot. That's super nice for her as well. And Sigrid eventually ended up 18th. But I feel like if you look at like the differences between Van der Breggen and like let's take third spot Vollering, that's already 1:10, and then the top 20 is still like in between those 3:22. So I feel like it's very obvious that Van der Breggen just was so good and like absolutely the best. But like I feel like apart from Van der Breggen, the time differences were actually not as enormous as I expected them to be. So yeah, surprising TT for me, or at least the results.
Yeah, it was. You can make a case for Van der Breggen winning. I mean, to be honest, I didn't expect it, not at all. But by the margins, she won. Like yeah, she should. I think she just rode the perfect TT. No discussion about that. I think taking 1 minute on somebody like Reusser and then even more on Vollering, that's being in a league of your own on that day. So that's super interesting. And then you can just. It's always interesting with a flat start and an uphill finish in a time trial. What is your choice of bikes? What's your setup? What's it gonna be? Reusser rode the normal bike, the normal regular road bike. Of course, she didn't win, so then you always make the wrong choice in hindsight. But let's not judge on that. She made a clear choice. Didn't work out, or maybe just Van der Breggen was just in a league of her own. We will not know. Van der Breggen obviously made the right choice by going with the time trial bike. Then the question is, did Vollering make the right bike choice? If you see her riding, if you compare her with Van der Breggen used the time trial bike like you should. She was in time trial position all the time. Even if it was uphill, she like acted like a regular time trial. She stayed in position. She did what she should have done on a time trial bike. When I saw Demi, she was like riding on the time trial bike, which should have been beneficial on the flat. But then she started like riding like a climber, like out of the saddle, wobbling, getting out of position. Then I'm like, you're making your weapon into a slight disadvantage. So was it the right choice for the style she was riding?
At least the bike was for sure heavy enough.
Yeah. Ooh, sour.
I'm sorry.
That's true. But of course, yeah, she lost time on Van der Breggen, so of course discussions open up. But I'm just judging on the way she rode the bike. That's like I was like, doesn't look. You should have maybe used the normal bike. Kristen Faulkner did the bike change. Apparently, she won on the flat, but she lost the seconds with the bike change. So again, questionable strategy. You need a Formula One pit stop crew really to execute this to perfection, or otherwise it's useless.
Yeah, but there was also no like change zone or anything. It really had to come from the car, and then yeah.
Yeah. Always. So yeah, I don't know. But of course, the winner is always right. The ones not winning always make the wrong choice in hindsight. So difficult to judge, but just based on the style, I don't know, Demi. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could have
We
maybe
also
been
had
better.
3 DNSs. Michaela Harvey, the stage before, she like had a nasty crash.
Yeah.
Rolden crashed as well, and I think Van Androoy was ill, but I'm not 100% sure. And we had one OTL with Segala.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can be happy it was only one because the time limit was made higher to 40% for the start. I think first it was 33, so I think a fairly good decision. They bring it up to 40.
Yeah.
Well, then.
And just before we go to that mountain stage,
Sure.
Saar, stage 5, just a little shout out, like we said before in the preview, to the Fassa Bortolo team, to the Iselman team, Mendelspec team. They're in the breakaway every day. They're visible. So they're doing a good job. Nice for the Conti teams. Yeah, so they're visible. So give Top Girls Fassa Bortolo a new sponsor for the next season. You see, you get return on investment. They're on the television in Italy. So please let's continue this program for next season as well.
Well, Roma Italia and Isoland maybe were not too happy about being visible the day after because we had two riders disqualified because they were holding on to a team vehicle. The DS of I forgot the DS of one of the two also got disqualified. So yeah.
It's the whole P discussion all over again that they had with the men's Giro as well, apparently.
Yeah, holding on to a car is like maybe you shouldn't do it anymore in the times where people are on the roads with their phone and everyone can see it. But I've heard from someone along the course that they definitely weren't the only two who were doing it. So
I'm pretty sure they weren't.
Yeah, so it's always been like, yeah, I feel like there are other riders who are also working for it without holding on to a car. So I think there's less discussion about it than there was with discussions before. But yeah, there will always be ones who get away with it and then ones who don't.
True.
So yeah, we had two DNFs as well with Zanzi and Clara Emmons. But then the stage, well, we had a big break because like we didn't have a live stream in the beginning and it was like peloton in two pieces, Van der Breggen not in the first, and it was like, oh my god, we're missing so much already. But we had like a big break with both Caroline Anderson and Nadia Gontova and there. Lauren Dixon was there, Bunau, and a lot of other riders. But I guess those were the ones who stayed longest in front. And then GC wise, the race was made very hard as well by FDG, so it was like a bit of a weird thing to see. We had like Dixon going full gas in that breakaway group, and then we had FDG going full gas in the chase. So yeah, they definitely wanted to use Dixon as a satellite rider, I guess. But yeah, Dixon was still very strong in the final, but maybe they could have like tried to let her save a bit more energy, or yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, what the big takeaways were, I think, is that Marlon Reusser and Longoborghini sadly didn't have their best day. They are struggling a bit at the moment, both coming back from injury. Longoborghini from very severe illness. I think we had hoped for both the comeback kids to have an amazing Giro, but in some sort of sense, it's also normal. But still, I would have liked it for them to all go a bit smoother because I love the persons they are, really. Like Reusser for her like amazing, like you don't get any more honest interviews than you have with Reusser. And Longoborghini, she's like just such a fighter, and then I always feel like a bit bad if it's not going to plan. But still, she like dropped a lot and she was struggling a lot, but she ended up fifth, so that's where she shows her true character and resilience to still get fifth there. But yeah, we had the strongest climbers were Demi Vollering, Anna van der Breggen, Antonia Niedermeyer, and Isabella Holmgren. Kristof, for now, I'm going well on our podcast battle, which which little track rider is gonna end up higher.
Hats
so
off.
Excited about that. But it's quite a funny side, like okay, Vollering, Van der Breggen, Niedermeyer, they aren't the smallest riders at all. But then you have Isabella Holmgren like sitting in the same group. She's really big. It's like such a funny sight to see it, and she can climb quite well. So it's always funny to see like a very large climber. So that was quite funny about it. But yeah, I feel like it was quite obvious that Demi couldn't drop the others. Van der Breggen was just, it looked like she was just casually following whatever happened. Niedermeyer was also making a very strong performance because she was pacing, and I had a feeling that Vollering really was like suffering in the wheel. Van der Breggen wasn't, but Van der Breggen barely shows it, so it's hard to judge on that.
She has a poker face.
I feel like Holmgren was the one who like had the most cracks, but she also needed to return from the bike sometimes, and she's the youngest, so fair. But I feel between those three, I don't know. I think Van der Breggen, she's just going very strong and consistent, so it will be hard to get her off your wheels. I think there is potential in Niedermeyer, but she needs to use her strength in the right way. We've seen that in Burgos, I think, as well. And here I was saying in our Giro preview, like, yeah, she won't need her tactics too much because she definitely won't be the strongest climber at the Giro. Yeah, gave her some motivation. But yeah, she needs to use it right now because I feel like she's one of the three best climbers in this Giro. And if that's the case, then you should try and go for overall victory. And let's be honest, who would love to see that?
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. Yeah. She needs to use her power wisely, smart. Start racing more tactically a little bit if she really wants to stand a chance to win this Giro. Van der Breggen side, like we said, she has a poker face. You never know. And we've seen her crack on longer climbs as well in the past. So I'm really exciting for the Finestre stage on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure.
What's it gonna be? Is Van der Breggen like freewheeling, or is she getting fatigued and will she drop in that mountain stage? It's gonna be a really interesting one because something needs to happen. Vollering needs to attack. If Niedermayer wants to something, she needs it. Longo and Reusser definitely need it if they still have the legs. I never count them out. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun stage, I think, on Saturday. That's for sure. And also like another shout out, like you said, to Holmgren. Sad thing was in the last you could see like, oh, you're the inexperienced rookie with the top four there because she was like forced to go to the front. She made an attack, but that was like not an attack. That was like, oh girl, you don't have anything left in the legs.
But
You
it
should have
was on
saved this.
it was on 500 meters from the finish, so it was basically a lead out at that point.
And then the attack was not like really explosive anyway. So I was like, oh, that's like rookie money you're paying here, which
But
was
so
funny
good to
see.
see her up there.
Yeah, of course. Hats off to this youngster for what she's doing, of course. And that's money you all pay at that age. So she will definitely learn from this experience too.
Yeah, but again, I feel like we saw, so Dixon was there, Cavallard was also there, by the way. I feel like Cavallard did some good work for Van der Breggen. But I feel like Dixon, she was so incredibly strong, like crazy, but I still feel like they didn't, like she was there, she was spacing also in that lead group, but I feel like they could have used her in a better way. Yeah. Then also let me zoom in on Nadia Gontova, who did great. She also did some great work for Monica Trinca-Colonel. But now I'm coming to my little announced small rant. So if you go look into the top 20, we have Trinka Colonel on 13, Nadia Gontova on 14, and then we go back to Ottestad, who ended up on 18, and Sigrid Haugstad on 19. By the way, the last two ended up in the same time, and yeah, I always question a bit why, like also in their releases and like they always go like Haugstad is here to support or Ottestad or Alerud. Well, this is quite a thing that happens a lot where you see like Alerud or Ottestad on like place 14 and then Sigrid on 15 or 16. And I feel like maybe they should just try to give the two of them their own chance instead of using one as a domestique, because I would like to see Nadia get a chance on Finestre for herself as well. But that was just because I was like, this is becoming a pattern here. Yeah, I feel like, but for sure at X, I think it has been going on from like Strade on, and it's a bit of the same scenario where you see it happen. So I feel like maybe we could do it differently.
Yeah, shout out to Sigrid. She really transferred very well to the World Tour scene. She's blending in perfectly. She made a big step. That's nice because Sigrid is an amazing person. For the ones not following her, just do it.
Yeah.
She's funny, she's friendly, and she's good.
Yeah, quite talented as well.
Yeah, not bad for a soccer player. No, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Also Laura de Schepper. Wow. Also, I think she's from the same generation as Holmgren, so it's a bit different. But you see Laura de Schepper, you really see her growing like year by year. And it's really good to see. She was the first AG rider as well. So yeah, and she also tried to do an attack, right, from behind. I think it was in this stage, which is always cool if you come back to the group and then try to attack. Also, can someone explain why Monica Trinca-Colonel, who was like 5th on GC, got like a minute, and Laura de Schepper got like they were immediately trying to get her back? It was a bit like boring, but Yeah, super cool to see. Not only that she's up there in the top 10, but like also trying to get something better out of it is very nice. I think white jersey will be a bit hard with home run there, but great performances by them. And I think probably AG has the team classification still as well. Yeah, so could be the second year in a row, I guess they take that home.
Yeah, nice. Good. And then I think we have one stage left that we didn't touch.
Yes.
Another Balsamo win.
Yeah, but who got second is way more exciting now.
Yeah.
But I feel like now I was expecting like with Wiebes out, we would see like so much competitive sprints, and now it's basically bummer.
Control find Lorena Wiebes, control replace Elisa Balsamo.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a bummer, but super nice by Maggie Colslister.
Yeah.
I didn't predict her in the first place, but then I like looked at the stage and I was like, oh, this is Maggie track cyclist coded stage. So I replaced her quickly. And look, it paid off. We also saw Georgia Baker, who has some track experience as well. So that was obvious. But super nice for Maggie, for sure, if you know where she's coming from. To then get her a Giro podium, a World Tour podium as well, because she didn't have it yet this year. So super nice for her. Yeah, just to be competitive in these types of sprint is super great for her. Also, the interview with Georgia Baker, her mom was standing next to her, and apparently, like, her mom was like doing a bit of a record, and she said to her, like, yeah, be sure to stay on the left or right. I'm not sure, because on one side there are a lot of potholes and like difficulties on the road, so watch out. So then it's quite funny. She actually did do it and get to third, so that was like quite a nice story.
Yeah.
Well, like Jury, Ford, Consoni, Gladys Mills, Gillespie, Williams, again, Zambelli, Volstad, and Cole outside of the top 10. I think before we predicted, like, she is the only team actually with like one big sprint train for her. So we expected her to be consistently placed very well, but it's not yet working out this Giro. For us today might be a sprint, but I feel like it will be again more of a reduced bunch sprint, or hopefully a break. A break would be nice.
Yeah, finally.
So yeah, I think also with like Wiebes getting out of this Giro, I think Cole hoped for more, but it's not working out right now.
No. Yeah, let's see. And then we have the stage. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the Finestre stage, Saar.
Yeah, same. I do hope we don't see like a long solo. I hope we see like some attacks and like them first of all not working out. I don't hope like after 5 kilometers someone just flies off solo. That would be nice to not see that happen.
Yeah, don't spoil the fun. Make it exciting. Like play with seconds. Like we want to see Anna van der Breggen lose track, but then fighting and coming back, then losing it again. Niedermayer going all in. Like that's what we want.
Okay, so do we do a final GC prediction? Who wins?
I'm going for boring. I go for Vollering.
Okay, then I was if you were gonna go exciting, I would go boring. So now I'll go exciting and I'll say Niedermayer.
Nice. Fair enough. You can win as well. I would be happy with that.
Yeah, it would be cool, but also nice for Niedermayer that she really now set the step to like the level of the big guys. If all of those, like together with like Blasi, Niadoma in great shape, Fran Prevot, Gigante, all of those are gonna compete at the tour, that's like gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. That's a good thing to have a new kid on the block. I mean, she was already there, kind of, but now she made that big step, I think. That's for sure. So, yeah, gonna be exciting. Let's see Poker Face van der Breggen, how good she is on Saturday. If she's good, she wins, that's for sure. If she doesn't lose time...
Imagine if Wiebes would have been here as well and Van der Breggen is doing so well. Then it would have been like just as he works, support from Fuller, maybe taking the stage. So yeah.
But Wiebes decided to use a paper bicycle, so...
I think I thought we were feeling sorry for her. Come on, Kristof.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, that's a wrap for episode 77 of She Rides. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the ride.
Absolutely. Women's cycling is packed with action and we're here to bring you every twist and turn.
Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music or YouTube so you don't miss upcoming episodes. episodes. And if you like today's show, a rating, like, or comment really helps us reach more listeners.
Follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates and more.
And don't hesitate to share questions or topics you'd like us to cover.
Stay tuned for more exciting guests. Tag She Writes podcast on Blue Sky, and She Writes is powered by Kariam Endurance Coaching.
Thanks for listening to She Writes, where women's cycling takes lead. Keep watching the fun, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.